This is the new version of TimeLinx Mobile. This is now an app that resides on your iOS device or your Android device and requires a subscription through your company. What's new about the mobile is it is now adding a complete service capability, mobile service capability, to the TimeLinx project management system, allowing for complete scheduling and dispatch and work recording for time, expenses, parts inventory, assets, and more, all added to our existing TimeLinx project management system. So I'm going to log in, and what you're seeing here is that I'm operating my phone through a wireless connection. As I said, this is a disconnected app, meaning that I can work without any internet present, and the system will synchronize when an internet connection is available. So I'm going to log in as Susan May, who is a project manager. And you can see by looking at this list here, this is work that is assigned to her, as you can see on the top menu bar. So I can look through all the work that has been assigned to me, and I have some shortcuts that I've added to this. The paperclip means there's either there is an attachment or I want to add an attachment. Checkmark means I'm completing the task. The currency there means that I would need to add an expense of some sort. The clock is a add time function, and the flag means I'm pinning this to my list so that it's present there. Perhaps I'm going back for a few days of work and I want the record pinned in front of me so it's always available for repeat entries. So I can click on any of these. For example, I'll click on the clock, which is add time. It defaults to today's date. It shows me at the top what the task is, what project it is, a description of the project, who's the customer, what is the actual time that's been spent so far, and how much of this task has been marked as complete. It's using today's date. I'm going to choose a location. So if I pick on site, for example, it's going to add additional fields for travel time, for mileage, and automatically look at our revenue optimization engine to do some calculations of the time that I enter, for example, rounding time up as needed. So I'm going to pick office for the moment, and it's defaulting to the current time. I'm going to click on the ending time, put in some time here, for example, 45 minutes. You can see it's calculated 3/4 of an hour of actual time. Put in some billing comments, such as I did the work. In fact, I'm going to use the microphone. I did the work instead of typing it. And internal comments, as you can see below, if I click on this little icon right here, it copies that to internal comments that don't appear on the invoice. So I can put an additional comment. This time I'm actually typing. And this appears on an internal report and does not appear on the customer's invoice. The billing comments are what appears on the customer's invoice. I can update percent complete. It will pull any old percent complete from the existing project so that if, for example, it's already 50% complete, it will default to 50 and I could increase it to 75. I can add an attachment, a file, or I can take a picture and save the record. And if it is connected to the system, if I look up at the main menu up here on the left, there is no pending time and expense synchronization because it has synced already because I have an internet connection. Otherwise, I would see a list of records that are waiting to be sent and synchronized when an internet connection is there. If I look at weekly details just above it, it will show me actual time that's been entered, and we can see time that's been entered for today. I can look at the details here, and if I need to, I can click on my 3-dot menu. I can edit the time. I can delete time as needed. So here's my 3/4 hour record right above that, and this is the time I just entered. I can go back in if I made a mistake or I want to change something and edit the time. So I'll go back and save it. I'll come back to here, look at my work again, which is again my list of work that's been assigned to me. I can also see what's scheduled on my calendar for a specific time. You'll notice none of these have an actual start or end time. So I can look at my scheduled work and it will show me any tasks that are actually on my calendar. Perhaps a manager or myself put that work on my calendar. I'll go back to assigned work. Perhaps I want to add an expense. I can click on the icon for currency. Again, default to today's date or change the date. Perhaps this was yesterday. Pick an expense type here. And so perhaps it was mileage or parking. I'll use parking for the moment. Tell it the currency. You can see it already defaulted to dollars, so I don't need to worry about that. And perhaps I paid $15 for parking. Payment type, if I paid a company card, then there's no reimbursement. But if perhaps I had to use cash or a personal card, then I might get reimbursed, and it will trigger a reimbursement flag in the accounting system automatically, because this will sync to your accounting system and all the data that needs billing or going into the general ledger or for payroll or receivables all goes into your accounting system from this mobile client through the TimeLinx project system. So I'm going to pick company card. You'll notice the reimburse flag, if you caught that for a second, turned off. But if I pick personal cash, for example, you'll notice reimburse flag is now on automatically. The billable flag normally would be on as well, depending on the client. It would know if this is billable work or perhaps it's not. So I'm going to guess that in this particular project for this particular customer, billing for expenses is turned off. So as a technician out in the field, I don't have to think about that or worry about is it billable or not. TimeLinx does that kind of thing automatically. And again, I could add an attachment to this. Perhaps it's a statement of work. Perhaps it's a document as needed, and I can look at different documents and attach them as I need to. And when I do that, by the way, it will show a small image of each attachment next to where that camera is right now, and it will show me all the actual attachments that I've already put in there. I can go back now to work that's assigned to me if I need to. Again, nothing is pending. There's my weekly details. Right above it is a search. So I'm looking for a particular company, and I don't know exactly what I have, but the customers asked me to do some work. I type in Gate, and there's Gatecom. And from Gatecom, I can pick all the projects that I have access to. So I'll pick powder coat metal railings. Here are all the tasks that are on that project coming from TimeLinx. I'll pick one to add time, and I can click the clock there. Or I can punch in if I need to by using, up in the right corner, you'll see a little clock. And I can punch in by actually going to this powder coat record here. So I'm going to click on the three-dot menu here to choose something else, and perhaps I need to add parts to this particular job. I can pick which machine or which asset I'm adding the part to. Click on the three dots again, and I can edit this record. And now I want to edit this part, yes, and I can choose a different part, a description, quantity, etc. as needed, and associate it to a particular machine in their job. And I'll save that, and you'll see it says part saved successfully. I'll click OK. So that's a quick summary of using TimeLinx Mobile. Again, this is an app that goes onto an Android or an iOS device, whether that's a tablet or a phone, and synchronizes back to the office as needed, whether there is an internet connection or not. If you've got more questions, take a look at our website, www.timelinxsoftware.com. Thanks very much for watching.